Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about modernizing the app estate with Microsoft low-code platform. And while the opportunity to drive innovation and digital transformation with app modernization is really big, it can be potentially an overwhelming exercise with lots of different parts. So today we'd like to run you through some of the benefits and explain the paths that you can take. My name is Rico Ganawan. I am the practice lead for Cloud and App Innovation with Catalyst, which is a part of CBS. And just a little bit of agenda, what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what is app modernization, why modernize legacy apps, and the different modalities of app modernization, the potential development pathways. We're going to hone down specifically to the low-code, no-code cloud platform, the technical benefits, and giving you some tips about how to build a business case, some use cases, and the success stories that we've got with our customers, and some of the next steps. Just a little bit about Catalyst and our capability. We've got 4 core pillars. One of them is cloud application, which is the area that I'm leading. We focus a lot about app modernization, migration to cloud-native apps. We also do custom development, automation, system integration, and many other things. We also have cybersecurity as one of our pillars, focusing a lot around security assessment, helping organizations to do their essential 8 maturity assessment, do security uplift and remediation, do security monitoring and response. Data intelligence is our practice that goes hand in hand with all of our other practices as well, but especially with cloud application. We find that whenever customers want to build apps, it always be complemented with data intelligence at the end of it, so we can do data modernization, integration, your data analytics and reporting, and also artificial intelligence or machine learning. Managed services is our other practice, where we focus on cloud infrastructure, modern infrastructure, and help you to do some support and provide licensing as well. We are a customer. We are a cloud solutions provider, tier 1, so we can provide licenses for organization as well. Now, what is app modernization? It is the process of updating current apps and data to a cloud-first model to align with business needs. And it might involve migrating to the cloud or rebuilding all or some parts of it to adopt to the newer capabilities and best practices as well. The organization of all sizes are currently looking to modernize their app estates. With modern cloud-based apps, organizations like yours can innovate, can unlock productivity, streamline your processes, improve the customer and employee experience, save costs, and much more. And that is why 70% of Australian and New Zealand customers are looking to retire or replace their app estate in the next 2 years. And this is the research that was done based by Microsoft and Catalyst. And however, it can be hard to know when to migrate and when to modernize and when to start. So, my goal today is to help you with that. Legacy apps become outdated and less effective over time, and it can lead to increased costs, reduced productivity, and lost business opportunities. Now, some of the limitations and challenges for the business when they have legacy applications are potentially lack of scalability. The business that they're running maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when the apps that were built back in the day suited for that business process, but it may now have expanded. It could be a different incoming channels with people going online these days to submit their applications or inquiries, where back in the day it might be via phone calls or emails. And maybe there's just a lack of the ability to scale with the incoming requests and inquiries and business needs for your business. Integration difficulties is another one. Oftentimes legacy apps are not the easiest to integrate with other applications that might be coming in new to your organization because of an updated business process and so forth. Security, I think it goes without saying with the recent security breach cases that has happened in Australia. It becomes a focus, and a lot of legacy application or enterprise apps that is in the market for 10, 15 years, they might be approaching end of life. And once it goes end of life, they will stop releasing critical updates, which means then your system will be more vulnerable to security attacks. High maintenance costs and vendor lock-in, it probably goes hand in hand, where an application that was built maybe as a custom development back in the day, where you need specific vendor-specific skill set to maintain them because it's all custom, and it becomes very inflexible as well. Out of our experience in WAs, we help an organization where they had a legacy app that was written in COBOL, and as you can imagine, the cost of resources to maintain that application will become very expensive. Now, why modernization is important for your business? It will remove barriers to digital transformation. 70% of digital transformation initiatives don't achieve their targeted outcomes. And I think this goes hand in hand with the speed to market. Oftentimes, organizations going through digital transformation over a number of years, maybe 3-5 years, where at the end of their program, they might find themselves outdated because things are moving really, really quickly. So the need to move really fast, be agile, be efficient, to innovate, it's very important these days. It will also unlock cost efficiencies. Australian and New Zealand businesses says 40% of their app estate will be replaced with more cost-effective SaaS options in the next 1 or 2 years. Better employee experience is something that's not talked a lot about. A lot of organizations focus on customer experience, which is very, very important. But employee experience is also very important. Imagine if imagine if employees have a bad experience in doing their day-to-day job, which means that they're becoming more and more inefficient in doing their job. And if they have a great employee experience, they will be happy where they are, and they can do things more efficiently, and they can produce more for your organization. And security, again, is one of those things that we don't really need to talk about. It's very important. The new technologies mean that they're more up to date in terms of security updates, and we will reduce technical debt as well, because older applications might work for your older business processes, but as you move along, it might no longer be required that much. And I think a lot of organizations have this mindset. When we work with one organization in particular, for example, when we ask, why are you doing things a certain way? And sometimes their answer is because that's what we've been told to do, and that's the way we do things. And oftentimes this is because they've been limiting themselves because of the legacy apps they've been working with. They've been restrained and limited because of that. And that's how you can unlock efficiencies, I think, with new modern apps to replace your legacy apps. Modernization on the roadmap. As per the previous research that was done by Capitalis, out of the companies that were surveyed in Australia and New Zealand, about 21% of them have in their roadmap to replace existing apps with SaaS, and about 31% will increase the usage of low-code and no-code solution. And about 40% of the other organizations are including these two in the roadmap for the next 2 years. So this is a good diagram or some stats for you to ponder upon where your organization fit in and where you should move to. So modernizing your app estate, there's different modalities or different ways to do it. And it can get a bit, daunting, I suppose. But these are basically the five that you can look at. It could be rehosting, where it could be a simple lift and shift of apps from one platform to the cloud with zero to minimal architectural changes. It could be replatforming, meaning that you migrate apps from on-premises environment to the cloud, make some minor changes to leverage some of this cloud functionality, such as auto scaling and high availability. Refactoring and repackaging is where you start to look at these applications and to try to optimize their functionality and transforming some bits and pieces of it using the cloud. And for example, transforming monolithic apps into microservices architectures using containers. Re-architecting is when you start to think a bit more and ripping that apart by rebuilding the solutions and taking advantage of advances in technology and platform services. And the last one is rewriting, where you see an application that no longer suited to your business, very outdated in terms of security and very, very costly to maintain. And this is where you want to start rewriting your legacy app from scratch. And as you can see, moving from 1 point to 5, as you move along to number 5, it will cost more, it will take more time, but at the same time, it will reduce your technical debt and reduce your risk, really, in terms of becoming even more legacy in the next 2-3 years. Now we're going to focus a little bit around low-code cloud platforms, where we can quickly build and rapidly deploy as well. This is, there's a lot of stories with different organizations that has disconnected solutions. That's because they think about a certain solution to a certain problem at a certain time, and they might end up with different solutions. They're all disconnected. Maybe they do reporting with this solution, they do CRM with this solution, and what has happened is they increase in complexity. It will create disparate admin security governance. It will make, it will result in higher total cost of ownership. You mean you will have multiple vendors where vendors will handball things to each other, and there is additional support considerations, which means that you might need multiple specialist experts. Now, the Microsoft Cloud can be a solution for that, where we can package and we can have everything under the one Microsoft umbrella that integrates really well within the Microsoft ecosystem with each other. And not only that, but also integrates with other things out there outside of Microsoft that is built into the platform, because Microsoft realized that they don't want to be a vendor lock-in. They're happy for the platform to be integrated with other things. But at the end of the day, it will form a single point of admin security and governance. There will be integrated architectures which drives lower total cost of ownership, and you can leverage the technical resources you may already have, or it's already there in the market, because technical resources for Microsoft technologies are widely more available than technical resources maybe for your custom development. And these are the 3 different potential development paths. Low-code development is what we're talking about, is where you leverage local platforms like Power Platform to rapidly and cost-effectively develop apps for specific functions. And this may result, you adjusting your business process to adhere to the out-of-box functions of the low-code platforms, which means then you can configure things quite quickly, and you don't have to customize stuff, and you can do self-service and rapid application development really quickly. The second layer would be a fusion between Power Apps, your local development, and Azure development. And this could be a combination where you might, there's a specific business process, specific requirements that requires the solution to be customized a little bit. And Microsoft understands this, and that's why they're opening the platform itself, Power Platform. Not only that it's suitable for low code, but you can also involve pro code, as in some customization on top of it, to build some of the requirements that maybe that doesn't quite fit in the right out-of-the-box functions that the platform offers. The last one is code-first development, where it's just custom development that leverage full-stack code to meet complicated application functionalities. And the benefits to this is you can basically meet your full specification, to the T, right? So you can build it as what you want it to be, but it will require full customization. And unfortunately, it may lead to the same problem in 7 years time, where the business process has changed, and then that means you need to have a specific specialized person to support it, because it is a code-first development. I think the sweet spot in this aspect will be the first two, between low-code and Fusion Power Apps and Azure development, to help solve your business needs. At the same time, we can unlock cost efficiency, we can develop rapidly, and make the code more maintainable as well. So local platforms combined with a cloud-first approach can accelerate custom business app development and deployment. You can improve your organization agility, and you can gain competitive advantage. Some of the technical benefits of Power Platform or Microsoft Code Platform is reduced complexity. Less code results in reduction in code, and that on its own will make things very simple. And maintainability is also a big thing, where Microsoft Local Platform is a SaaS product which is hosted in Azure as its infrastructure, which means that it's all been handled by Microsoft in terms of scalability, how to defend against denial of service attacks. That's all covered within the Azure capability. Security, strong security and compliance features built into the platform, relying on the Azure security layer, and on top of that, also the Power Platform security layer, whereas you can introduce role-based access controls, and even you can include field security levels controls, where you can limit the access to a certain field to only certain security roles or a certain person to access that. So it can go even deeper to that. Automation tools obviously will help the solution to be more flexible and to help unlock efficiencies in the organization. Rapid deployment, being it's all low code, you can build things really quickly, and you can deploy it really quickly as well. Deployment pipelines is always a baseline, and it's always something that we include in our implementation to ensure that there's consistencies between the different environments of the solution that are being deployed. And integration, there's around about 900 plus built-in connectors from OpenAI, Microsoft tools like Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, Power BI to help enhance the functionality of the apps. And not only that, as I mentioned before, they also open integration with built-in connectors to things like SAP, Salesforce, Oracle, which means that they realize that there's some core system in organization that is, very critical and very, it will stay there for a while, which means that Microsoft will allow the solution that is built on top of that to integrate with this core system that is existing. Microsoft Power Platform is it's probably the world's most complete set of integrated and low-code development tools. It provides Power Apps, provides web and mobile application interface for your end users, be they external or internal users. Power Automate provides the process and workflow automation function in the solution. Power Virtual Agents allows you to configure chatbots and conversational agents rather than writing things custom. Power Pages enables you to develop a portal for your customers or end customers, public facing as well, that subscribe or use the data in the data layer of the solution without having to build another integration layer. Power BI is great for data exploration, for analytics and reporting. And all these other components out there as well that complement each other in Microsoft Power Platform. And you can see this as a journey as well, where you can use model-driven apps to create good experiences internally, conversation chatbots, smarter solutions using AI builders, maybe scanning forms and interpreting that into data. Business websites using Power Pages to serve your end customers. Process improvement using Power Automate. And streamline data, ensuring there's validation, integrity, and security using Dataverse as its data layer, and surfacing some reporting using business intelligence in Power BI. And yeah, these are some of the points that can help you to build a business case. We understand some businesses may require to build the business case to be able to use this low-code, no-code platform. Essentially, it will help reduce development costs up to 70%. It will give you faster time to move to the market. It will improve your organization agility and competitive advantage, and improve the efficiency and productivity of your staff, like what we discussed before, how it will improve your employee experience, and so forth. Some of the example use cases are modern integration by built-in connectors. As mentioned before, you can integrate with from a certain website or a third-party API and other system like CRM or ERP or custom application. By using these connectors, and business can automate the flow of data between different systems. Centralized data repository or single source of truth is a big one as well. Oftentimes, the organization have some rogue or shadow IT applications lying all over the place, like an Excel spreadsheet that manages customer data, or an Access database that was written 20 years ago that has certain process and printing some reports, which means data are being distributed in network drives, which can create some problems. Obviously, security-wise is a big thing. And secondly, that means you have some duplication of data and inconsistency as well, where you want to try to manage everything into one single source of truth, and Power Platform can help that. Replace paper-based processes. A lot of times, this has been an Achilles heel for a lot of organizations, where they use things manually. Maybe applications were made manually back in the day, or maybe going through, applications were made via emails. Maybe these days, well, email is probably the new paper these days. And we came into a realization when we conversing with one of our vendor partners as well, where they mentioned one of the government organization, they built something and they produced that into a PDF format from electronic data, only for that to be entered again manually into the new system. And that is something that that will need to be modernized, right? So those are some of the examples that a lot of organizations still have, and potentially that might apply to your organization as well. Ingest, process, and report on data. Once you have your data centralized and a single source of truth, you can also have the solution to help mining those data and process them, and then elevate them and present them in a nice Power BI report and dashboards. Now, some of the different success stories that we have, we help digitally transform one organization which has a lot of legacy on-premise environment, multiple disparate systems, no data sharing, and unmanaged shadow IT applications. And what we did is basically we helped them to move to Azure. We consolidate data into Dynamics 365, replace existing legacy applications with Power Apps and Power Pages. So we migrated their Sidecore on-premise to Azure, and we migrate we migrate a lot of their on-premise service into Azure PaaS as much as possible. And we merge a lot of the application using Dynamics 365. So a lot of Dynamics 365 become the baseline for the application layer, and they start to make small application on top of that, utilizing the single source of truth of data to then surface different services to their customers. The other example is where we did application consolidation and modernization. They had application with dependencies on unsupported legacy systems, things still being on premise, and they want to reduce the unavailable skill set to support the legacy system, and they want to reduce the cost of maintaining a dedicated server. So what we did is we consolidated data and application to Dynamics 365 and replace existing legacy portal and reporting with Power BI and Power Pages. We use data flow and Power Automate to ingest data from external data sources and sync them into Dynamics 365, creating that single source of truth. We use Azure Synapse Analytics, hosting the data from Dynamics 365 and use that for data source for reporting. And the legacy SSRS reporting solution has been decommissioned and replaced by Power BI, and hosted a Power Pages as well, which is a portal for 5,000 plus users with embedded Power BI services as the interface to the data in Dynamics 365 to allow self-serve capability for the users to access real-time data. Just as something to think about in terms of the improvement that this has made. Back in the day, the reports was released in an annual basis, where it takes about 1 to 2 months to get all the data before they release that as a PDF to every single user once a year. Whereas these days, the users can log in and can access their data in real time to understand where they are at in the process and how to make sure they can qualify for certain things throughout the year. So it not only gives benefits to internally without doing that laborious manual processing of reports, but also giving a better experience to the end customers where they can see things real time and they can try to improve over time as well without having to wait every year. The other thing that we did is refactoring legacy application in Azure for a certain payment acquirer, where they had a significant .NET legacy application, and we helped them in modernizing and refactoring the app into Azure. And we upgraded the latest version of .NET Core, and we built them automated deployment via Azure DevOps CI/CD. So what's next after this? Maybe you think, is there something that you can do in your HR onboarding automation? Perhaps you still do things manually with paper, where you fill in stuff and passing that along to your certain IT teams to onboard people and whatnot to payroll. Is it AI for data storage? Maybe you're a bit more mature in the organization and you use a lot of data storage, and there's some machine learning that can help that to identify the different kind of patterns that will allocate data straight away into cold storage or hot storage. So to reduce your costing. Self-service is a big thing with the change of times. Incoming channels, with things becoming more online and self-service for your end customers. Maybe it is something to think about, that an area in your organization that you want to enable self-service for your end customers and even for internal users. Data security and governance, again, your disparate system, your shadow IT application that might be lying over all over the place or in a network drive that we need to pay attention about. Make sure everything is within the same kind of security protocols and something that is managed within the organization as a single source of truth. ChatGPT or OpenAI, obviously something that moves really fast these days. How do we embed that into your organization? We can help you with that. Automated form and invoice processing. Potentially, you still have some paper-based things that's still happening in your organization that we can help automate. And this is all possible using the low-code, no-code platform from Microsoft. And just a quick example of how fast things are moving. The AI timeline in 2023, just from Microsoft perspective, in January they partnered with OpenAI, and in February they released Dynamics 365 Fever sales with GPT. In February, they released Bing and Edge Copilot using GPT-4, and as you can see it here going down, Copilot is also a very, very new thing and very exciting things in Microsoft that is available in Dynamics 365, in Microsoft 365 as well, and in Power Platform, which helps organizations to write code really quickly, to spin up applications really quickly, and this is all happening in the space of 3 months in 2023. So very things are moving really fast, and I think organization will need to be on par in terms of speed in digital transformation. Things are moving really, really fast, and we can definitely help you to move with the same pace to modernize your application estate. And yeah, that's it for our presentation today. And we are Satellites. We are part of Canon Business Services in Australia and New Zealand. Get in touch with myself. My contact details are there, or Todd Elliott if you need a hand, or if you want to have a further chat. We're more than happy to help you out. Thank you.